One of the questions I get quite often is what are the minimum amounts of training or time it takes to prepare for an ultra marathon? This was always a very difficult question to answer because honestly, we all start from a different spot. We all have a different level of ability, fitness, and training volume behind us. So it makes it very hard to say this is the minimum amount. And one of the anxieties that most aspiring ultra runners has is whether or not they're going to have enough time to train, and it makes them not even start because they just assume it's way too overwhelming, way too time consuming, and just too difficult to even start. And the reasons for this are usually because they take a look at the amount of time they've used to train for things like half marathons or marathons in the past and assume it's just a multiple of that for every distance you go up. So saying a marathon, you would have to train for double the amount for a 50 miler, and that is just not the case. Recently, I just passed my UESCA ultra running coach certification, and one of the concepts that Jason Koop, who helped spearhead that certification and also the book Training Essentials for Ultra Runners, volume 1 and 2. If you haven't picked up those books, you need to. They're a great resource. One of the concepts Jason teaches is trying to determine whether or not a distance you've chosen is something that is either smart or attainable so that you can be successful on race day. And he uses this concept of minimum maximum. How it goes is, if you are wanting to train for something like a 50K or 50 miler, you would need a minimum amount of 6 hours per week of running for at least 3 weeks, starting 6 weeks out from a race. Again, that would be 6 hours of running per week for at least 3 weeks, starting 6 weeks out from a race. And if you were looking to tackle something like a 100K or a 100 miler, you would need a minimum of 9 hours per week for 6 weeks, starting 9 weeks out. And again, that would be 9 hours of running per week for a minimum of 6 weeks, starting 9 weeks out from a race. And this is kind of helps you get a ballpark guesstimate of whether or not you have enough time to train minimally for a race. It doesn't promise success. It doesn't promise that you're going to have your maximal effort in a race, but it does give you an idea whether or not a race you have chosen is realistic in its timetable for you to be successful. And if you are already not in great shape and you're hoping to do like a couch to ultra or something like that, this really should tell you that you need to adjust your goals and set something out a little farther in the future to make sure that you stay injury-free and have a lot more of a chance for success in an ultramarathon distance. Now, if you're somebody who's been running all of the time and you maintain a high level of volume all the time and you run 50Ks once a month, this doesn't really apply to you, but this is talking about people who maybe only run 1 or 2 in a year, or haven't run for a while, or maybe getting back into running, getting back into shape again, and they're trying to ramp up their volume to achieve, something like a minimal effort to just finish these races. And again, these times are just to help people kind of get an understanding of whether or not their training, their goals allow them the amount of time they need to train to be successful and finish these races. This training needs to be high quality training, and we won't go into the details of what that means. I'll do that in another video. But this was just to answer the question, what the minimum amount of running would be to be successful in an ultra marathon. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about Jason Koop's philosophy, he's a very, very smart person in the world of coaching, been doing, I think, for over 3 decades, coaching running and ultra running. He was a fantastic ultra runner in his own right. He wrote the Training Essentials for Ultra Running volumes 1 and 2. Fantastic books. I use them as a resource and I always have. They're great to look at to build out your own training blocks or just learn more about the sport we all love. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and click right here, and I'll see you next video.